Thank you. Thank you guys for your service. Thank you for all the men and women that serve. On the Personnel Subcommittee for Armed Services, Senator Warren and I had a presentation on how bad we're doing on recruiting. And our recruiting numbers are pretty pathetic right now. It seems like, I remember I joined in 18, joined the Navy. We knew who our enemies were. We knew what the military's role was. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of Americans are a little concerned. We got some polling data from the Reagan Institute and the National Independent Panel on Military Service and Readiness showing us that many Americans and a majority of active duty service members find the military to be politicized and focused on what divides us instead of what unites us. So if that's true, what can you do and what are you doing to make sure? Because I think when Senator Sullivan was bringing up the fact that we shouldn't have Marines in pictures like that and with speeches, what are you doing to make sure our military is not perceived to be a political arm of whoever the president is? Doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat.
Well, first of all, I would just two things. First, in terms of the satisfaction of the troops that are in the ranks and how we view ourselves, Senator, I would just point to the fact that we have the highest re-enlistment rates probably that we've seen in several decades. And what that means is that people are satisfied they're with the opportunities they're provided and with the development they're receiving. The second thing is with respect to recruiting. As you know, there are a number of things that have combined to create headwinds, and they include the lowest jobless rate that we've seen in many, many years. Also, 2 years of COVID. And you know, Senator, without recruiters not having access to high schools and centers of influence for 2 years will have a profound impact on our ability to recruit. Our leadership in the services is doing the right thing. I mean, our secretaries, our chiefs are doing the right things. They're investing, beginning to invest the right monies in advertising and encouraging their recruiters to be in the right spaces. They're hiring the right people to be recruiters. Now, I used to be a recruiter, so I'm not guessing at what this takes. I know how hard this is and what you need to do to be successful. They're beginning to do those things again, and I think we'll see the trends move in a different direction.
So next year we'll have good numbers?
Next year you'll have better numbers. We'll be where we want to be probably the year after that. It took 2 years to get us to where we are because of COVID. It'll take a little bit longer to get turned around. So.
Senator, I've had many tanks and conversations with all the chiefs on this whole topic. Yes, we have a recruiting challenge, no question about it. I do think there is a cause and effect linked to COVID. I'm not blaming that, but we do know that recruiting numbers are directly linked to contact time. And because kids haven't been in high schools and we haven't had the recruiters in the high schools, contact time is very, very low. So consequently, you have much lower recruiting numbers. That's one key factor. Another key factor is just the familiarity with the American citizenry with their military. Now we're at an all-time high, 50-year high of re-enlistment, which is incredible, actually. That indicates that the people in the military are satisfied with what they're doing every day. So that's an all-time 50-year high. But 80%, about 70 to 80% in that range, depending on the service, of our folks in uniform are in uniform who have a family member in uniform, either a father, mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandfather, grandmother, something along those lines. So it's familiarity with the military that makes the difference, I think, in terms of recruiting. And that's where we got to get out. We have to get out more into the society. We got to make sure we increase our contact time significantly. And on the politicization piece, look, I have tried from day one to make sure that we have an apolitical, nonpartisan U.S. military. If we have anything other than that, that is a danger to the republic. We must remain a nonpartisan, apolitical military. That's fundamental to this country. That's what I'm committed to. That's what all the generals are committed to, and that's what you have right now, and that's what we want to continue to keep.
Joe Malley, I liked your answer to Senator Sullivan on you being able to compete against China. Do you actually believe that all the countries you named will show up if China invades Taiwan?
I think in different ways, yes. perhaps not all with combat forces and that sort of thing. I think allies operate differently. Every country operates in its own strategic interest at the moment in time. But I do know that we have an incredible network of allies and friends around the world. And in the Pacific, we have a series of bilateral defense treaties that are ratified by the Senate, and those are ironclad. You know, with the Republic of Korea, Japan, Philippines, Thailand, Australia. These are treaties that you know we are committed to fight on their behalf, sort of thing. So I think we have a network of allies and partners that gives us a strategic advantage over China or Russia, for that matter. If you look at who China's friends are, it's not very many. They're operating in a purely transactional way around the world. They're trying to garner as many natural resources as they can from around the world. But there's not a lot of people who are, quote unquote, friends with China. There are many, many countries that are very tight, very close with the United States, and that's a great strength of ours, and I do think they would be there in time of need.
Thank you, Senator Scott. Thank you very much. Senator Rosen.